Welcome to Shrimperscast with me, Paul Hill.
And me, Steve Mansfield, on today's pod.
Shrimpers steal a point at Gateshead as another test is passed against a top team.
Fans' faith in no news is good news tested to the limit as nerves jangle amid silence on takeover updates.
I catch up with Southend United legend and 2015 League Two playoff final hero, Myles Weston.
And we look forward to a home clash with Wealdstone this weekend. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Shrimperscast. How are you doing, Paul?
All the better for seeing you, Steve. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Been keeping busy, decorating, painting my son's room. Got green paint all over my hands, but it's looking nice, so hopefully he'll appreciate it. He probably won't. Have you been all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Busy. Oh dear, got a busy week lined up. I'm off to Newcastle after this.
Nice.
Yeah, bit of a meeting up there. Then I'm going to go down to Roots Hall to see Wealdstone hopefully get turned over, and then I'm off to Geneva.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'm going to the United Nations headquarters for 4 days for the Sporting Chance Forum. So, and also, obviously, a Southend United scouting mission.
Yeah, you're going to be promoting the podcast while you're out there, I'm sure.
Well, absolutely. I'll tell you what I am going to be wearing, though, is one of those fantastic T-shirts. I must say, they are banging. Yeah,
I've received delivery this week from our amazing T-shirt printer, Mr. Alex Diss, who's a really great guy, produces really, really nice screen printed T-shirts, and he's done our Shrimperscast ones, and yeah, they've just arrived. They're going to be getting sent out. If you're listening and you've ordered one, they're going to be getting sent out shortly, either posted or hand delivered by my good self. And we've got a few available still. So if you are looking for a Christmas present for, you know, a Southend fan, and you know, who doesn't like a cool T-shirt?
Yeah.
I mean, these are really top quality, really nice prints. The logo's really cool. So have a look on our website at shop.shrimperscast.com. And yeah, you can order yourselves one, and you'll look the part down Roots Hall on Saturday against Wealdstone, won't you, Paul?
Well, we'll certainly look the part now wearing mine, and you know what I mean? I thought I was going to get one for free, but of course I've bought one. In fact, I'm going to buy two.
Nice one. Don't forget as well, we are using it as a bit of a fundraiser for the trust, so we'll be chucking them 10% of all the sales at some point soon. So yeah, get yourself a T-shirt and support the trust at the same time. So great point on the road again for Southend. Yes. We've got our man in the stand, Pip, coming on, but Paul, any kind of initial thoughts on the Gateshead draw?
Well, let's be honest, it's a horrible place to go. You know, we're up north, and that stadium is, you know, arguably probably one of the coldest, wettest, most, you know, expansive, huge. You know, you need a scientific telescope to see what's going on the pitch when you're up there anyway, the best of times. But yeah, to get up there in a team clearly in form, and again for themselves pushing for the playoffs, to get up there and go a goal down and get back into it and hold it, get a point. I mean, anyone could have won it in the end. But yeah, what a result. And, you know, 2 now. Unbeaten in 2. We're sitting, form is coming in on our side, rocking into Wealdstone. And yeah, but I just think just great result, really. And yeah, put it to bed, move on to Saturday.
Yeah, it's another one of those teams, isn't it, that are having a really good season, that, you know, potential banana skin, but another test passed, really, you know, coming back down with a point. It's all good. Cardwell notching again as well. He's up there, isn't he, with the goal scorers in the league? So yeah, really, really good. I must say, actually, we've been called out on YouTube by one of our followers. Yeah, because I think we came across a bit stupid last week with the Wes goal. I was talking about how I thought he'd kind of, you know, attempted to have a shot, and actually what I was saying was, in the ground, that's what I thought. But obviously on the replay, he's trying to square it there to I think is it Jack Wood that's in the box there. But yeah, a big shout out to the chap on YouTube. Please keep your comments and questions coming in, and if we come across like fools, please let us know, Paul. We don't mind, do we?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, go for it. Say what you like. You know what I mean? But yeah, no. Well, it looked like it was going for a shot. Of course, it was going to square it for Jack Wood to hit it first time, wonder goal in the top bins. But, we can't get everything right. Just like referees, we always make mistakes. We're only human.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in terms of the Gateshead game, like I say, we've got Pip coming on shortly, Diversity, to talk us through that.
Do you know what? From that defeat away to Altrincham, we're also up there in the playoffs. I thought it was important that we get something out of this game.
Yeah.
We need to sort our away form out if we're going to make that late push. We're still, touching distance within the playoffs. And I'm still a great believer in this fairy tale story, mate. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to get to the playoff final in Wembley again, and we're going to win it.
Yes, mate. That would be what a story that would be. That would be incredible, wouldn't it? So, obviously, the big subject surrounding Southend still is the takeover, and it's been very quiet, hasn't it? I mean, we've had various guests on to talk about the takeover. We've had the councillor Matt Dent a couple of times, and we had journalist Matt Slater a couple of weeks ago to talk us through it. He's kind of covers this sort of stuff at different clubs up and down the country when they're in crisis. And one of the messages I think from those guys that have come on that are kind of closer to it is to sort of hold your nerve if you're a fan. Everyone gets it, we've been around the block with Ron many times, and everything, every kind of small piece of news or small hold up appears like it might be catastrophic or might be some kind of nefarious scheme, which it absolutely might be. But I think the message from those guys was, really to sort of hold your nerve. These things do take time, and there can be complications on the way. That said, we're hearing, aren't we, that we can't really sort of quote our sources and stuff, but we are hearing from people that are slightly close to it that the one thing that you would imagine might be holding it up is holding it up, and we believe it's to do with the agreement around the 20 million that Ron has got to push back towards the club to redevelop Roots Hall. What are you hearing, Paul?
Well, the same as you. And to be honest, if I was anyone buying any business, especially a football club, and you have an agreement in place for someone to put money into it, who's got form of never paying on time, never paying his staff, never filing his accounts, you're going to want reassurances, and you're going to want a lot of that money up front, aren't you? Because he's not going to pay. He could just easily walk away into the sunset, and then that'll be it. You just can't be trusted.
Yeah.
And of course, it's going to be him holding everything up. But, I think they're very, putting out their due diligence. I think they're scrutinising everything. Every time we hear a bit of news out, we're also scrutinising it, because he just can't be trusted. We can't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. Fingers crossed this is just a little sticking point. They can reach an agreement to get this over the line. I think the consortium are in too deep now to walk away from it. I can't see them walking away from it at all. I think they all want the club. They want the club to move forward and want it to be successful. And it's just down to that one man now to kind of make that happen, instead of getting himself in the Daily Mail spread over a sofa looking like he's just about to walk into the Commons. I mean, what was that about? I mean, I'm also hearing he's hired a PR guy as well, trying to freshen up his image.
Yeah.
But, it's never going to happen, mate. Well, once a turd, always a turd.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think hopefully it's a sticking point and an agreement can be reached. There are obviously financial mechanisms that you can put in place to make sure people pay these things. That said, he's refusing to pay HMRC. It doesn't get much more serious than that, does it? Not paying the tax man. So I do get it, and let's just say that we hope that this can be sort of hammered out and an agreement can be reached on how that money is going to be paid back to the club to redevelop Roots Hall, as we know the consortium wants to do.
Yeah, and we need it. He's run that ground. Well, he's run that stadium into the ground, and it needs redevelopment, and he hasn't put any, invested into it at all. It needs a complete overhaul, and I don't know. I hope they do. I hope he sorts something out very quickly. Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed, and obviously, if we get any news, we will bring it to you as soon as we can. Okay, so Paul, we are now going to move on to your catch-up with Pip, aka Diversity, who was our man again in the stands at
the Gateshead International Stadium.
Huzzah! Hello and thanks again for joining us on Shrimperscast, Pip. Just a short trip up north to Gateshead this week for you away day nutters. So how cold was it up there?
Good morning, fellas. Or good afternoon to wherever you are watching this from, people. My name is Diversity, and I am that nutter that follows Southend home and away and vlogs it. But going up north to Gateshead this week, yeah, I can firmly say I was a nutter for doing that. It was a last-minute decision on my half. It came to Friday evening. I thought, do I do it? Do I not? And we caved in and we went up to Gateshead. But by God, it was the coldest game I think I've ever been to. There was talks during the game and at halftime, especially with the fans in the away section, saying this has to be one of the coldest away days we've ever had. Oldham was up there from last year on a Tuesday night, but no, Gateshead tips it, I think. God, that was so cold.
Well, I hope you've warmed your cockles up now, mate. But we picked him out as a potential danger man in our preview last week, and it didn't take long for that man, Stephen Wern, to notch another goal. So, yeah, talk us through it.
I think you've hit the nail right on the head there, chaps. Stephen Wern, another goal. But to be fair, that puts him on 10 goals and 10 assists so far in 20 National League matches. That is an outstanding record for a player who only joined them in March on a free from Grimsby. But it's not just him, really, that Blues had to watch in defence. They also had the likes of Marcus Dianga, the star striker for Gateshead. I think he leads the way in terms of goals in the National League as well. So Gateshead, a very forward attacking side, and Blues did heavily well to keep both of those players quiet. But unfortunately, it just caved in. A Dan Mooney sloppy pass given away. Gateshead tore open the defence, and it was an easy finish for the Gateshead number 10.
Yes, mate, it was a cracking goal, to be fair, but a great fight back from the Blue Boys, with Cards getting his 12th of the season after some great work by Bridgie down the left.
Harry Cardwell back in the goals. You love to hear it. You love to see it as well. That goal drive is finally over, and hopefully it gives him the momentum to kick on and keep scoring and hopefully get up there for that golden boot at the end of the season. But second half, Blues really did come out to play. The first half, I say, was a complete write-off. Get in at half-time and regroup and get a new plan. And in the second half, Blues did come out well. They came out fighting, pressing to win the ball higher up the pitch, and it worked really well. Bridgie, tons of chances down the left. Gus was getting in down the line. It was really a much better second half display, and Cardwell, like I said, gets out of the goal drought, and hopefully it's time to kick on.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see Cards back in the goals ahead of that tricky encounter with Wealdstone coming up. But more action at both ends, with the woodwork being rattled as the floodlights kicked in. It looked rather tense, mate.
Again, chaps, you've hit the nail on the head. Two informed teams going after each other. Really, it was a great show. After Blues equaliser, both teams really did go, right, I want the 3 points. I'm going to get it. Gateshead, obviously, like you said, hit the post down, I think, in the 80th minute. Blues had chances. Jack Wood smashed the crossbar with a shot, and the rebound was turned over by Kanu. Gateshead looking dangerous as ever down those wings, putting the ball in the centre, trying to set up Dianga, but Blues defence held strong, as did the Gateshead defence, and Gateshead goalkeeper, I think it's Archie Muir from last season, was with Notts County in their penalty shootout, did amazing for them. It really was a great game to watch and a great spectacle for National League football.
I couldn't agree more, Squire, but anyone in particular stand out as a Shrimpers man of the match?
I'd say, besides obviously every week, every player in the Southend United squad deserves man of the match. I have to give it this week to a guy who's really been on form as of late, and that is David Martin. The goalie has really stood out in these last few games. Versus Chesterfield, he had an amazing performance, keeping them quiet, bar conceding the one goal. And again, at Gateshead, he couldn't do much about the Stephen Wern goal. It was a shot right in the corner. But apart from that, Dave had to make plenty of saves to keep Blues in it. He was loud. He was vocal when he was distributing the ball out, controlling the back line, telling them to push up. I really have to give him so much credit for such an experienced veteran of the game. He is doing wonders for us and that back line.
Indeed, he is. And, well, it is a funny old ground up there at the Gateshead International Stadium. So what's all that about? How was the atmosphere up there?
I knew this question would come up eventually, chaps. The Gateshead Stadium, and let's not get it wrong, it is a good stadium. It's a nice stadium. But it's not a football stadium, not in any slightest. You need a pair of binoculars handed to you as you walk into the stadium in order to watch any of the action from where you're sat. For an athletic sort of stadium, that's what it is, evidently, it would fit its needs perfectly. But for football, no, I'm sorry, I don't like it at all. And they say the away section has a roof over it. I don't know if any of you listeners will pull up an image or know what the Gateshead away section looks like. There's literally no roof. It's a block of pillars just above you. No roof, no covering. So if it rains like it did last season for all the Blues fans who attended, you're going to get soaked. But Gateshead Stadium, I don't know if I'll be doing that again. Too cold, no cover, no roof, so atmosphere is limited, but Blues fans always loud and proud. It makes the day worthwhile.
Yes, mate, huge support on the road again with 324 away fans making that long slog up to Gateshead. Incredible support as always. Well, thanks again, Pip, and as ever, we look forward to hearing from you again, and, well, I look forward to seeing you at the Hall this Saturday.
Thank you so much for having me on again for another week, and thank you to all your listeners for having to tune in to me for the last 5 minutes. I hope you've made it through this segment, and I hope you continue to listen to the amazing podcast these chaps put out every week. My name's been Diversity, and it goes peace.
Big thanks to Pip, aka Diversity. We always give him a little shout out. If you don't follow him on YouTube, head over, check out his channel. He goes to every game, home and away, and he's always putting up all the video highlights, reactions, atmosphere, and all sorts of commentary and stuff about the Blues. So give him a little follow. Paul, this week you caught up with another one of your heroes, didn't you?
Indeed I did. I managed to get hold of one of our legends, I would say, the playoff final hero, Myles Weston, currently at Dagenham. And in my day job with what I do and I work in football, I cheekily asked him if he was free to come on and have a chat with me. As soon as he found out I was Southend, he was like, yep, no problem, mate, here I am. So it was a great talk, got some great insight what it was like to play under Phil Brown, and of course that great day out at Wembley, and then moving into League One where, you know, we didn't go down, but it set the foundations for our little steamroller where we narrowly missed out on the playoffs as well back then. But yeah, it was a great chat, great to talk with him, and yeah, looking forward to sharing it with you now. Yes, hello, it's Paul here from Shrimperscast, and I'm here with a Southend legend, and I'm dead excited about this one because he's our first player to join us from that famous day at Wembley back when we won the League Two playoff final at the death. So may I just introduce Mr. Myles Weston. How are we doing, Myles? You all right?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And yeah, well, let's get stuck into it. I mean, what a career you've had, man. And well, it's still going, isn't it? You're at Dagenham now.
Yeah, I'm at Dagenham now. Still going. Trying to play as long as I can, man. I feel good. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and keep going as long as I can go.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I mean, what a career. I mean, so am I right in thinking you started at Arsenal?
So yeah, I started at Arsenal when I was 11. Then I went to Charlton at 12, and then I stayed at Charlton, done my scholar there, and I got a pro there. And then yeah, that's how it basically started. Went to Notts County after Charlton. Then from Notts County, I went to Gillingham for 2 years. From Gillingham to Southend for 2 years. Then I went to Wickham for a year, then to Ebbsfleet, and then now at Dagenham. Yeah, so I've had a blessed career, if I could say so. Yeah.
Brilliant career, yeah. Still going strong as well. And it's great to see you in our division as well. Good to see you playing. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a very tough division, I'd say. But yeah, it's always good to be able to still playing at my age, to be playing at my age. So yeah.
So what happened? Why Southend then? I mean, because I know Phil Brown was keen to bring you in. So was that one of the main reasons?
Story, I don't even think I've told people this story. So basically, I wasn't even going to go to Southend. I was supposed to go to Oxford. So at the end of my time at Gillingham, my agent said, yeah, Oxford's interested in me. Gary Waddock was the manager at the time. Went to speak with him, agreed the deal to go to Oxford. I was on holiday, and then I got a phone call from my agent saying that something's happened, and basically they've changed their mind in a way. And I was like, fine. And then, but he said then Southend's interested in me, Phil Brown. So I went to meet Phil Brown. I liked what he had to say, the ambition that he wanted the club to go in. And I ended up signing at Southend. So if I'm honest, it was a blessing that I didn't go to Oxford, because obviously we ended up getting promoted. So yeah, I think it was the right decision to go to Southend, and it was. I feel like I enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, it was a great period as well for Southend United. Just that whole team is an exciting team, and we all know Phil Brown is a fairly charismatic man. But what was he like to play for?
Yeah, most of the time I think he was good. Like, with Phil Brown, like some people don't like him, some people do like him. You just got to know how to take him. I think for the majority of the time that I was there, I didn't have a problem with him. He's managed in the Premiership, so do you get what I mean? He knows his stuff. Like, for you to even get to the Prem in any capacity is an achievement. So you have to give him his credit. But yeah, some people didn't know how to take him. But for me, he was okay, man. I didn't have a problem with him at all.
Well, he certainly done us a turn, didn't he? Getting us up there into the playoff final and then onwards up into League One. And it was a great campaign there, to be fair, as well, wasn't it? We got in there.
No, definitely. I think the team done really well. I think, as I said, he built a good team even from when I was there. When I went there, I didn't know what to expect, if I'm honest. I just liked what he had to say. I didn't know much about Southend, the team, the players that was there. But when I got there, I realised very quickly that it was a good team with good players, young and exciting players mixed with good and experienced players. I think it was a good mix. And that's why I feel like we achieved so much, because the mix was right and the mix was good.
Definitely. I mean, you talk about experience and youth. I mean, when you arrived, we brought Lee Barnard in. I think we had from Southampton, young David Worrell. He's still going. I think he's at Barrow now. And young, exciting winger. And Kane Bolger, the youngster at the time from I think Bolton, wasn't he, or Leicester?
Yeah, even bringing Jack Payne through. I think he gave him his chance, Jack Payne, if I'm honest. So I think the mix was really good, man. We had we had Barry Core leading the line. He was a good striker, good target man, good leader. Michael Timlin, who I'm quite close with still. Great leader, great friend. So yeah, I just think the team was a good mix. It was mixed with, I said, young, good talent with experience. I just think it was a good mix, man.
Yeah, it definitely was, certainly. And I think bringing Adam Barrett back as well, because I think he was at Gillingham and then brought him back to Southend. I think, right.
Yeah, so I was with Adam. I was with Ads at Gillingham as well. So I knew what Ads brought to the table, because we won the league at Gillingham and he was the captain at Gillingham. So when he came to Southend, I was buzzing because I just knew what he was and knew what he brought to the table. So.
Yeah, brilliant. We were very fond of him when he came back. He was brilliant, seeing the boy back home and leading the line again there at the back. But I mean, what a great season that was. I mean, I think you scored on the opening day, if I remember.
Yeah, I think so. I think I did. Yeah, I think I scored on my debut. Or if it wasn't my debut, it was the second game. One of the two.
It was fairly early on. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like, when I've signed, do you remember Shaq Colferg?
Oh, yes, the young lad from Tottenham.
Yeah, so he was on loan from Tottenham. So he was a striker that played on the wing, and then Phil Brown, I'm a winger that played up front. So he kind of rotated me. He put me up front to start and put him on the wing. And I think it worked, if I'm honest. And then I think during the season I went back to the wing, but at the start I think it was... it was good. It was good. Really, really good.
Yeah, it was, certainly a successful season. And, I mean, was there any standout games in that League Two campaign that really stood out? Like, any favourite game of yours where you thought, oh, that was an absolute belter?
What, good or bad?
Either or both. Why not? Let's go with both.
Okay, I'll go with... Let me go with bad and then I'll end with good. The bad one, what I'd say for me, which was hard to take, was the last game of the season when we could have got promoted if we won against Morecambe. I think that was hard to take because it was in our hands and we didn't take our chance in that game. They ended up beating us 3-1, I think it was. And Bury ended up getting promoted. So that was a hard one to take. But I think moving on from that, I think obviously the final, but the semi-final against Stevenage, I think that was a great game. The one that went to extra time, because I think it's hard when the league's in your own hands and you don't take it. It's hard to pick the boys up to go and play in a semi-final and get through to the final, because you're thinking, if we win this game, our mentality was, if we win this game, we're promoted. We don't have to go through the playoffs. Do you get what I mean? So, where we lost the first game, the game against Morecambe in the last game of the season, the boys done brilliant to go to Stevenage and then at home get the win to get to the final. I think that was an amazing feeling to know that we overcame our own mistakes, if I'm honest, to get to the final against Wycombe. So yeah, I'd say them two were the best and the worst for me, I'd say.
I thought you were going to say doing the double over Portsmouth.
Nah, do you know what is it? Them two games meant a lot, because, as I said, if we won the game against Morecambe, we wouldn't even have been in the playoffs. We would have just been promoted. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but if I'm honest, I wouldn't change a thing. I think we got promoted the best way. I think I've been promoted with Gillingham while winning the league, but through the playoffs, I don't think it's unmatched. Getting promoted through the playoffs is amazing, man. Like, that feeling is yeah, it's unmatched.
Absolutely. Especially, like you say, with that disappointment. I took my middle girl, Genevieve. I've got family in Barrow, you see. They're all from around that area. So it was great walking into Morecambe. We had 3 sides of the stadium, didn't we? All full up, singing away. And it was, we shared the disappointment because it was gutting. But then, like you say, the manner of beating... going to Stevenage, I mean, that horrific Timlin injury as well, that was always sticks out in my mind. That was that was a horror one, wasn't it?
Definitely. And even him sticking it out and playing, did he play in the semi-final? He did, didn't he? I'm sure he wrapped it up and played in the semi-final. I mean, the second leg. I'm sure he did. Knowing Tim's, he definitely did. Because I know Tim's, he's a warrior, man.
Well, he did. I think he scored.
Didn't he? I'm sure he did. But yeah, like, he's a warrior, man. He's a warrior. So yeah, that was an amazing time and an amazing experience. I think, like, it can't always go the way you want it to. Sometimes you have to go through obstacles to basically get to the end goal sometimes, and it builds character anyway. So I said I wouldn't change a thing anyway.
No, I mean, yeah, again, like you say, we get into that Wembley game. And I mean, just playing a competitive match in Wembley. What was what was it like? Well, knowing that you were going to get there, walking out onto Wembley Stadium in a playoff final.
If I'm honest, I was quite relaxed. Like, I was. To be honest, I thought I didn't know if I was starting or if I wasn't, and I ended up being on the bench. But my mentality was just do the best I can when I get my opportunity. When I knew that I wasn't starting, I was just thinking, do the best I can, try and play as well as I can, and I think we'll be all right. And the game was pretty close, if I'm honest. They had a couple chances, we had a couple chances, and it was a close game. They were a good team as well. So, and I had a lot of friends that played for that team. I'd say about 6 or 7 that played in their team. So that was even crazier, because, like, you're playing against your friends, they know you, I know them, but yeah, it was a good game, man. It was, as I said, another great experience, another great achievement, but just definitely loads of hurdles to overcome before we got to the end. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what an end that was as well. I mean, getting through literally at the last knock-ins. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've had that playing. I play it at least like 50 times a year. He always pops up with you running down the wing. I mean, what was that like? I mean, talk us through the goal. I mean, because you seemed to pick the ball up and then it was just like, right, let's go, head down again, bombed it down the wing.
I think, I always think this because my friend, like, on their side, on Wycombe, it was Matt Bloomfield. I think he lost the ball.
Right.
I think it was Matt Bloomfield. So he lost the ball, and I think it was me and Payne chasing him back. And I was just thinking, we got to get this ball back. The time's running out. So when I think Payne tackled him and I had the ball, I was gonna just kick it into the box, but when I looked up, it was only Barry Core and one other player, and I was thinking, I can't just kick it in there. They're gonna just outnumber us. So I thought, you know what? Let me just run and get into a better position to cross it, and it ended up paying off. Like Barry Core nodding it down to Pigs and us scoring. And if I'm honest, I knew as soon as we scored, I knew he was gonna win.
Yeah,
I knew he was going to win. I just think not just because obviously it would have the tide turned, but I just believed in our keeper. I just said no, he was too good of a keeper for him not to save any penalties. So I just knew I knew that we would win as soon as we got the equaliser.
No, yeah, Dan Bentley, I mean, wow. I mean, what a time he had at Southend. Fully deserved his move to bigger and better things. And you're right, he was absolutely outstanding, wasn't he, on the day? You know, where some keepers would we've seen them fold. And
This is it. So I just knew in my head I was thinking, yeah, we're like, and it's hard to pick yourself up when you concede with 30 seconds left. So because they probably thought they won it.
yes,
They in fact they did think they won it. So they would have been down even to go into the penalties. So yeah, I just in my head I knew we was going to win as soon as we got to penalties.
yeah, indeed. And well, it was a great performance as well for everyone from the penalty spot. I think we only missed one, and everyone else we smashed them all in. And
That was very nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not normally nervous when playing football or even taking pens, but I was nervous that day because I was just thinking there's a lot on the line, and we were shooting into their fans as well. That basically, I don't think that helped either. But everyone done amazing. Even the Cokes we missed, he's still done amazing. Because for you to even be brave enough to step up at Wembley and take a penalty is a big thing. So yeah, I still commend him for doing that because he didn't have to do it.
no, I mean, did you all practice penalties? Was that a thing it was talked about before the game, or was it? Did Phil just open up and said, who wants to take one? You know, who's got enough?
No. We practiced. We did practice them in training, but it wasn't. The order wasn't set, so I don't think you can do that. You can't set the order because subs happen, and people might have different feelings. So we did practice them during the week, but I think the gaffer just basically said who wants to take them, and then obviously people put their hands up, and then they done the order. So yeah.
And there we are. Then we all went home. Look at that, just behind my shoulder there. I forgot. Can you see that? Here, let me grab it. Not that one. There we go. And we all got to go home with one of these beautiful yellow ones, the yellow and black bad boys.
Yeah.
And that was a nice touch. But
Definitely, it was amazing feeling, man. Like as I said, especially, I think a lot of the boys had their families there to celebrate with the fans and your family. Oh, it's an amazing feeling, man. Like as I said, a lot of footballers don't even get promotions and don't get to play for Wembley, play at Wembley, and so I just appreciate it. I just appreciate the opportunity because, as I said, like there's a load of footballers that don't even get them opportunities. Even get to Wembley and get a medal and everything. So yeah, man, it was great. It was an amazing day.
yeah, well, it certainly was for all of us. And yes, we had a blinding summer for sure. And that year, as we were looking forward going into League One. And like you say, you've been promoted with other teams and had some good cup runs and stuff. But surely your time at Southend is is right up there, isn't it? Surely.
Oh yeah, as I said, like I've been promoted with Gillingham. We won the league that year, and that's an amazing feeling as well. We actually dominated that league, but I think going up through the playoff, it's unmatched. You're playing at Wembley. There's so many fans there. There's your family there, and even though I think it's more of a risk to go through the playoffs because it's not guaranteed, but I think the feeling after you do win is unmatched. I don't think you can even match the feeling that we all felt on that day. Memories that you will never forget.
Oh man, they last forever, don't they?
Forever.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, then that took us bang into League One. So, what was the feeling of the camp going in to that division? That's it. I remember being at the time there was things being reported about the club stalling on contracts and this, that, and the other, and Ron mucking around as usual and all of this stuff. But it was a bit disheartening. You know, if you thought one of your top strikers, you thought you'd pull everything out just to keep him there and give him an improved contract and keep him in the fold.
But as I said, like it's just it's football, innit? Like it happens from the top leagues to the bottom leagues. You just have to adjust. You're gonna lose players. You're gonna gain players. It's just what it was for us because the majority of our squad was still there. I think that helped as well when we brought in a couple new players, but that integrated really well as well. I think yeah, that's what helps when the new players integrate quickly. I think it helps definitely.
That's it. I mean, we didn't go down. It was about a mid-table finish, wasn't it, in the end? And then kind of set the foundations really for a further push in the next season. But then, but unfortunately, you left us then, didn't you? At the end of that, was it?
Yeah, because that season I was injured a lot of that season. I had plantar fasciitis, so the bottom of my foot. So I was out for 4 months of that season. So I didn't even play as much as I wanted to. But yeah, that's why I probably left, because I wasn't playing. I was injured a lot, and obviously I wasn't offered another contract. But as I said, that's football. That's how it goes.
Shame. I've had that plantar fasciitis, flat foot. It's horrible, isn't it?
Oh mate, it's so painful, man.
No.
So painful.
Oh, yeah, no good if you're a footballer, for sure.
Exactly. So, yeah.
But yeah, so now back at Dagenham though, you're still there, still fighting good. I mean, what are the hopes for Dagenham this year? I know we shouldn't really be talking about Dagenham on a Southend podcast, but we're in the same division.
You know what? As I said, got a new manager, Ben Strevens, who's he's been there. He used to play for the club, so that's good. So he knows the club, and just basically just see what he does with the team. We've started okay. We're mid table, and we're just gonna see what happens, because sometimes I think when you get a new team, you have to get time to put your principles into play. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it's been good. It's good. It's been good. As I said, we're mid-table. We had a slow start, but picked it back up. So it's just got to keep going, keep grinding.
Indeed. I mean, when we always play Dagenham, it's a great occasion. It's a fantastic derby game. And I was just trying to check. How many of these have you played? Did you play against us early on in the season? Was it?
Yeah, I think I came on. I came off the bench. I think that game. I was injured the game before, so I came off the bench that game. So, but I played all the other seasons though. Definitely, last season I remember playing both games.
Yeah.
So season before I think
What's that like coming back from a team that where you've won a playoff final and had a great season with them, coming back in that away dressing room back at Roots Hall, and or even facing them and back at Dagenham, and what's it like? Does it feel a bit odd, or is it just another game?
For me, it's another game, but I just think it's different because none of the players if some of the players that was there when I was there, it'd probably be a little bit. I think Bridgie's the only one. You know what I mean? He's the only one that was there, and obviously I know that Gaffer Kevin Mayer, obviously from being there before as well. But it's always good playing. As I said, it's a derby, so I know there's a lot on the line for the fans. I know both set of fans love that game, so it's always something on the line when Dagenham plays Southend. So for me, as I said, it's just, as I said, it's exciting, and it is good to go back to Roots Hall and play, because as I said, I was there and I used to play there every week. So yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing you come down in March, early March, to Roots Hall for that league match, and should be an an absolute humdinger, as they say.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's always good to go back to Wealdstone and play against Southend, and to see like some of the people that was there when I was there. So it's always good to say hello and have a little chat with some of the fans. They obviously come up to me and speak to me, and yeah, even some of the staff members that was there when I was there are still when we play, especially when we play away. Yeah, it's always good to speak to them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, well, it's always great to see you as well down there. But you know, you've seen Southend in the league. I mean, do you know much about what's been going on off the pitch? Are you familiar with what's going on with the takeover or anything like that?
A little bit, not much. I don't know much what's going on. I was just happy to see that. Obviously, you got taken over. I don't know no details about it, but it's always if you've played at a club, you don't want nothing. You don't want them to go out of business or anything like that. You want them to just be as good as they can be, especially if you've got promoted with a club. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm just happy that the club's been taken over and they're on the up.
Yeah, well, with that 10-point deduction, without that 10-point deduction, sorry, would be fifth, I think. And still under an embargo, we can't sign anybody. I think, we've been playing the last few games with 2 subs and still grinding out results. And it's like,
I think I said you got to give Southend credit, especially the staff and the players and even the fans that for supporting the players and the staff through it, because it's difficult. Everyone's situation is different, and obviously there's a lot of sentiment to a lot of the fans and to a lot of the people there. So as I said, I was happy that they got taken over and they didn't go bust us, I should say.
Yeah, we were very close to it, and the fans again have just been outstanding this season, and we've been taking big crowds away. I mean, the Chesterfield match at home was an insane home attendance and being on telly as well. But just looking at the amount we took away to Wembley that day, it was we know the support is there in the city, so it's a great effort by everyone.
Yeah, no, definitely. The fans have been great, especially when I was there, and it was good to pay them that with a promotion. Do you know what I mean? Because as I said, when I signed, I didn't know what was. I know that the manager was very ambitious. Phil Brown was ambitious, but to get promoted was an amazing feeling, as I said.
Yeah, man, it was a pleasure to watch as well and be part of it. And thank you very much for taking us on that journey. We loved every minute of it. It was bonkers. Yeah. It was brilliant. Yeah.
No. Good, yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be very difficult. I don't think we're going to. I've been asking this to our guests quite a lot, really. But can you think of a team, right, that has had a points deduction, but then gone on to be promoted via the playoffs?
I'm trying to think.
Because we can't seem to think of one either. We haven't really found one.
No, I'm trying to think of one myself. I don't think so. I can't think of one.
I mean, I'd say this is possibly the hardest division to get out of.
It's so hard.
It's so
hard. Especially because there's 2 teams that get promoted as well. If it was 3, obviously it would make it a lot easier. But with one going up automatic and then one for the playoffs, it is very hard. It makes it a lot harder. So you got to give credit to anyone that gets out of this league, because, as I said, it's a really hard league to get out of.
Yeah, and as well, the quality in the division. What we're doing with Will Grigg in the National League.
This is it. I think, do you know what it is? I just think now the National League ain't much different to League 2. I'd say the bottom half of League 2 and the top half of the National League, you probably could swap it, because there's a load of big teams in the National League. Look, Oldham, Rochdale, Chesterfield, like massive teams, teams that really I feel like League 2 wouldn't have want them to go down, because obviously they've got big attendances and stuff like that. But because League 2's a difficult league and National League's a difficult league, when they get relegated, they don't go straight back up. It's hard to do that. Do you get what I mean? So, I think anyone that gets promoted out of this league, you got to commend them because it's a difficult league, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was great to see Notts County and Wrexham go up last season.
Oh, I'm so happy that they both.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I don't want to play none of them again. You know what I mean? Get them out of this league, so give other teams a chance. You know what I mean? They just battered everyone.
That's it. Well, Myles, it's been fantastic to talk to you tonight. Thank you for your time. And I wish you all well at Dagenham, apart from when you come down to Southend on the 9th of March.
No, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers, Myles. All the best.
Another great chat there, Paul. Another bit of insight into a key period of Southend's history. Thanks for pulling that together.
Yeah, not a problem. It was a great chat, managing to talk to somebody who was part of that playoff final winning squad. I was lucky enough to be at the 2005 playoff final when we played Lincoln, and that went down to the wire as well. But this one was even better because of Miles's cross and the little knockdown, feed the pig and he will score, and then winning it on penalties with in such dramatic fashion. But it was just absolutely outstanding to hear from his time at Southend, and brilliant stuff, and huge salutes, Mr. Weston, and definitely look forward to seeing him down in March when he visits in a Dagenham shirt.
Good stuff. Cheers, Paul. Right then, Southend's form is pretty good, and we are welcoming Wealdstone to Roots Hall this Saturday. So now it's time for
Paul's previews.
Brilliant, mate. One take wonder, Paul. That was amazing. We told you we were going to up the ante with the Paul's previews jingle, and we finally, we dug the ukulele out.
Yeah, man, we smashed the budget on a uke. Brilliant.
We did, and the software to tune it on your phone as well. Brilliant. Yeah, please buy T-shirts, guys. Otherwise, we can't afford this high production value.
Well, that's it. We want to do the trumpet next week.
Paul Wealdstone.
Yes. Always a tricky encounter when we play this team. Their form is abysmal on the road. Really, really bad. But if we just look at their last 5 in the league, they've won 3, all at home. They haven't drawn anything, and they've lost 2, which were the games on the road. If we look at their away form, well, in their last 5, they haven't won any, lost all 5. They've only scored 3, conceded 7, but they've lost their last 9 on the road since August. Ooh. Yeah, really, really, really poor form. However, the last 2 on the road, they've only lost 1-0, so they're looking to, stop that rot. They had a really good result last time out against Barnet, 1-3-2. At home. So they can play against top teams. They can score against top teams. And they kind of like coming to Roots Hall. It's not the prettiest of games when they've been here. I'm expecting a really tricky, tough test, probably something reminiscent of the old Maidstone game, where we really had to dig in and wait for that win. I think it's going to be that kind of game where we're going to have to keep plugging away. If we don't get that early goal, we're really going to have to keep knocking on that door and hammering them down, because they are going to be a very, very tricky opponent. Yeah,
they'll probably come and sit deep and try and frustrate, and it'll be down to Southend to try and play around them and create those chances. Any particular danger men in the Wealdstone side?
Well, on the road, they're not great. They haven't been scoring many at all. Their danger man, Davon Campbell, he's got a few goals this season. But you know what? How I like ex-Blues boys that used to play for us. Well, they've got Nathan Ferguson down there. I think he got sent off when he came to Roots Hall as well last year.
Oh, that's always a good return story.
So yeah, he was. They always come back with something a little bit to prove. I think he lost his head a little bit. I remember the tackle being a bit naughty, but we know he can score goals. We know he can hit them from midfield. But I just think if we carry on doing what we're doing, keeping it calm, playing our game, we'll get this one over the line and, close in on them playoffs.
Keep climbing that table. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Cheers for that, Paul.
No problem.
Thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Shrimperscast. Paul, thanks for joining me as ever, mate.
Always a pleasure, never a chore. Looking forward to getting down the hall on Saturday. So if you see me floating around in the East End, come and say hello.
You'll be able to spot him because he'll be wearing a Shrimperscast t-shirt, won't you, Paul?
Yeah, modelling it.
Nice. Yeah, big thanks to everyone. Big thanks to Myles, to Pip, and to all of you guys out there listening. Don't forget, like, follow, subscribe, leave a little comment, leave a review, and let us know what you think of the podcast. See you next week. Up the Blues.
Up the Blues.